All right, welcome back. Now, you see the title of the stream, The Oath. Don't enforce the law if it's a dog. That is the culture of the United States. And this is the oath. It's a silent oath. It's not verbalized. It doesn't have to be. It's one of those cases where the laws that surround dogs, along with everything else, the propaganda, the pro-dog narratives, it all combines to tell law enforcement officers and others to not enforce the law if it involves dogs. Dogs are above humanity in their eyes. That's why they give dogs privileges that humans don't get. And they hide it behind the idea that dogs don't know any better, along with a bunch of other lies, like the dog is in fear and afraid. That today, and I want to build the live stream around this narrative. Today is the worst time to be a young person. It's the most dangerous time to be a young person. And young people need to understand that. You are now, if you are a young person today, you're in more danger than a young person was at any other point in our history. Right? In free America. Let's put it like that. In the non-Jim Crow America, this is the worst time to be a young person of any race or gender. Why? It is because when it comes to dogs, laws are not enforced. Now, you see what this says. You see this screen. And you see the title of this video. It's called How to Help a Child That is Afraid of Dogs. Now, we all know what that means. That means how to get the child to overcome his or her fear and not to assume that the dog is dangerous. How to numb their senses, their awareness. That's it. It's an attempt to mute their awareness of a threat. Now, let me ask you, is that beneficial? Do you really, is it smart in any way to convince a young person that something that is lethal and, attacks thousands of times a day, thousands of people a day, is it smart to inform young people that those creatures is nothing to be afraid of? Especially when those lethal creatures attack young people most of the time. They prefer to. If there's a crowd of adults, the dog will most likely target the small person. Seen it several times in attack videos. They target the small. And they're telling the young, the small, there's nothing to be afraid of. Make sense out of that. Now listen to this guy. This is just an example of what goes on in the world. I need people to understand something else. Dog trainers across the world, at least across the country, they are very well aware of how many young people are afraid of dogs. And a lot of them offer courses to help young people overcome their fear of dogs. In other words, indoctrinate them, mislead them, lie to them, deceive them, and which ultimately increases the chances that they get attacked. And that's, if you ask me, in my opinion, I personally believe that's the goal of the laws and of the dog culture. The goal is to get young people attacked. Now listen to this guy.
Distance from the dog, or if she needs more time to get used to the dog, the child should be the one deciding when she is ready to approach the dog.
So one possibility is to carry the child in your arms so that the child feels a little bit safer, and try to talk to the child, make sure that he finds it interesting. And in this case, I'm just carrying my cousin Afonso in my arms, and I am keeping the dog Gaspar busy with food treat.
So this is the breaking process that they don't like to talk about publicly. With young people, they usually go through a breaking process where the nutter adults, the criminal devils, try to get them to not be afraid of dogs. So he put a shirt on the young man, put a shirt on him, and this bully breed on the shirt has some type of ribbon across its head, trying to babify killers that prefer to attack young people. How could a wicked culture like this exist without the wicked people? Everybody involved in this culture and the laws, these are devils that are most likely involved in real demonic practices. I'll put it like that.
Just a nice quick session.
Be supportive and understanding regarding the fear that your child.
This guy, he has the spirit of a devil. Y'all look at him and listen and, oh, who's such a sweet man. This man is evil. You know what true evil is? A lack of connection with good. When you have no grasp on what is right, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to be overtly rude or aggressive and physically attack people. No. If you have no grasp of right, of good, by default, you're going to be a wicked individual who does wicked things like what you see here.
Child is showing. At the same time, you can try to show the child that approaching a dog is safe while you keep the child.
Why would you teach any young person that approaching a dog is safe when over 7,000 of them are bitten every day by dogs? All attacks unprovoked. In what way does that make sense? Is that reasonable? Is that logical? You see, earlier today I was thinking to myself, you have to be careful of people who don't operate based on observable reality, observable facts. Anybody who doesn't speak in line with observable reality is delusional, and they're going to operate and function like a wicked, evil devil. Like this man you're listening to.
Child behind the barrier.
The man said, teach the young man that approaching a killer that prefers to attack young men like him, that approaching a killer is safe. This killer, by the way, attacks these young people almost exclusive, like nothing else launches lethal attacks on these young people. Without dogs around, they would not have any problems. I was listening to a video from Dog Culture Review earlier, where he did a video, and I'm going to talk about it. We'll talk about how kids today don't go outside. They don't like to go outside anymore. But the nutter's trying to project the reason as the kids are afraid of cars. No, it's the dogs. You remove the dogs, and not only young people, but older people will be outside more. And then what's going to happen? They're going to socialize more. Social interactions evolve. Humanity evolves. Now, listen to this devil.
That approaching a dog is safe while you keep the child behind the barrier so that she can see you approaching.
Tell them that approaching a dog is safe while keeping the dog separated from the young person with using your body as a barrier. Oh, it's safe, but I'm going to carry you. It's out and out lying to them. Again, today is the most dangerous time to be a young person. They're literally specializing in lying and deceiving and misleading them.
The dog and at the same time feel safe about it. I recommend the use of food treats for these introductions. Having food treats there will accomplish two things for you. One is that the dog will build a positive association towards the child, so you will enjoy having the child there.
So we've heard this before, that when a young person comes around, give the dog food, so that the dog associates the presence of young people with food. Here's the problem. What happens when there's no food around being tossed at them? What happens when they see a young person for the first time and does not look around for food? Their instincts tell them to attack on sight. Y'all know full well that this nonsense is not going to keep anybody safe. But you're just throwing stuff out there to make people think it's possible. Just need the right training.
Because it results in getting yummy treats. At the same time, it will move the focus away from the child and towards the food. So the dog will be thinking about the food a little bit more than about the child. And that's going to make your life easier. A little bit later on, you might be able to...
Okay. So, if the dog sees a young person and then looks around for food and there is none, what do you think gonna happen? It's just gonna keep looking around for food no matter what? Again, y'all cannot control these things' brains. And it's only your arrogance that's causing you to think you can control their brains. This is another big reason why I'm so critical when I examine history. And I'm very quick to call a lot of stuff a lie in history. Because all you gotta do is examine the people who created that history. Look at their behavior today. Perpetual liars, deceivers, seem to have a problem with the truth. And understand, lying used to be legal. You were expected to lie and make things up during the Middle Ages.
Progress to the use of toys. You might incorporate a game of fetch, for example, with the child there.
A game of fetch. Again, this is the breaking process. Young person, young man, afraid of the dog. So this nutter is trying to break him. Look at that retarded mutant. Look at that physically deformed, retarded mutant shaking its tail nonstop. I mean, just for being that deranged physically, they should be euthanized. Each and every one of them. I mean, I'm telling you, the sight of them makes me want to see them euthanized. I don't know what the governments around the world is waiting on. These despicable, food-obsessed killers, completely worthless. But this is the breaking process they put young people through. And then they'll get around to taking a photo of the worthless mutt with the young man, and they'll upload it to social media and talk about how they're the best of friends. That's what these lying nutters do. That's what they do. They prefer to lie and be dishonest. Got to understand the character of the people we're dealing with in order to really know how to deal with them. You tell me, in what way are they truthful through and through? In regard to what? Dog attacks? No. And nothing else regarding dogs. Now, I shared this a number of times. Child endangerment laws. I've been almost every video I tell people to research these laws, because it sounds like they created the laws specifically for dogs. That's why it shocked me then when I first learned about them, and that's what has me confused today. It still sounds like they created these laws with dogs in mind, to ban them and make sure they stayed out of homes, out of communities. So for these laws to not apply to dogs, you're operating on some type of oath, because it's such a blatant disregard for laws. Now, in case, I'm not going to go over all of it, but in case people are not aware, I'm going to skim through it. Basically, child endangerment. Well, the idea is to make sure there is no unreasonably dangerous situations in the home. Now, stop right there. As soon as you start reading it, what does that sound like to you? Like they're talking about dogs. A completely unreasonable threat. Thing has no business there. That's the one place it don't belong. In fact, houses were built to keep them out. When an adult caregiver fails to adequately protect a child, states often punish this crime, known as child endangerment. This is the crux of my channel. Young people, please listen. You are in danger. More danger than ever. Child endangerment occurs whenever a parent, guardian, or caregiver allows a child to be placed or remain in a dangerous, unhealthy, or inappropriate situation. Like what? Inside of a home where there is a large killer. The only animal on this planet, by the way, that attacks and kills for sport. They will kill and not even be hungry. So this is a deranged predator that's more aggressive than natural predators. It gets worse. I assume most of you have gone over this with me before. I've gone over it a number of times. What constitutes endangerment? Well, some actions or situations are considered endangerment. They're broadly applied. Any number of acts can lead to a conviction. Courts have held that obviously dangerous activities, such as having a child in a car while driving drunk, constitutes endangerment. Other activities include failing to properly secure child in a seatbelt while driving, exposing the child to drug transactions or manufacturing, having unsecured firearms in the same environment as a child, engaging in a activity in view of a child, leaving a child without proper supervision. Okay? That's We're just getting started. This is the most important thing right here. Actual or potential injury. They're designed to punish behavior that might lead to a child becoming harmed. People, that's dog ownership. Stop. Period. End of discussion. There is no discussion or debate about it. Behavior that might lead to a child becoming harmed is owning a mutt. And these nutters go even further by letting the thing live inside the home with the young person. Cops, lawyers, I hope y'all listening too. I know there's a few of you follow the channel. You should be ashamed of yourselves. You're not a true enforcer of the law. You don't respect the law. Because this law applies to dogs more than it does anything else. I welcome anybody who disagrees to voice your disagreement. Not only that, these people acquire bully breeds. Dogs that were bred for the specific purpose of attacking and killing and getting off on it, not being able to cease the attack. They can't stop. If you separate a bully breed from a victim or target that it was attacking, you watch how berserk they behave. Y'all just saw that black guy who was attacked by his own pit bull. He was able to separate himself and get the dog out of the store. That dog was pacing, losing its mind, trying to get back in there and complete the kill. Do you hear me? Once these things start to attack you, they won't stop. That greatly increases how dangerous these things are. For example, if they were to get a hold of a gun, they shoot themselves once in the foot, it's over. It's not going to keep firing. Gun don't have a brain where it's going to make sure that the victim is dead. These laws are designed to punish behavior that might lead to a child becoming harmed, but they do not require the children actually suffer an injury or physical harm. Wow, doesn't it sound like they knowingly stretched or extended this to include dog ownership? That's how closely these laws apply to dogs. Dogs should have been the first things removed from the home after these laws were made. Can't make this up. State laws categorize endangerment as placing a child in a situation that might endanger the child's life, health, welfare, morals, or emotional well-being. Don't skip over that. Because after they're attacked, they're traumatized each and every time. They're traumatized, every one of them. There's not one of them that gets attacked by a dog that's not left traumatized. Whole lot of things go on with them. That's when you notice that they start to have negative feelings and thoughts towards their parents and their adults around them. Because they start to realize that you all have been lying to them and that your lies is the exact reason why they were attacked. They're going to figure it out. We're living in the age of exposure. For whatever reason, almost everything you can think of is being exposed for what it truly is as I speak. It's no different with dog culture. The dog culture critics are here. We are the only dog behavior experts in the world. And I dare one of you certified behaviorists to come try to challenge that. Go, you try to challenge that. I won't even respond to you. I'll let everybody else deal with you. A lot of nutters who leave comments in the comment section, I deliberately don't answer them because I already know the Crusaders gonna cook you. You got nothing for us. Y'all not the professionals. Child endangerment may still be charged in cases where the actions of the caregiver did eventually result in the child being physically injured or harmed. Reckless endangerment. To obtain a conviction for child endangerment crime, prosecutor does not have to show that a parent or caregiver intentionally meant to expose the child to a dangerous situation. Now, this is deep because this does not really include dogs, dog ownership. Because these people know that these dogs are dangerous. They know that they're deadly. And they just take the chance anyways. There's not an adult nutter on the planet that doesn't know that dogs can kill, that they're deadly. So they can't even deny it. I don't care if you get the best lawyer. I will prove that owning a dog violates these laws. I challenge lawyers too. If you're an attorney, I'm telling you now, I will win the case. I will beat you. And I'll prove owning these things violates child endangerment laws, reckless endangerment laws. Let's go. Y'all love to argue. See, and that's the thing. And that's why I like to call out lawyers in law firms. You became a lawyer because you like to argue. Let's go. Nutter, boost the popularity of your law firm by putting some ignorant person in check. Go ahead and tell me. I'm telling you right now. Ownership of these things in homes where kids are violates these laws. The courts apply a reasonable person standard in child endangerment cases. This means that even if the accused didn't realize the situation was dangerous, reasonable people in that situation would have understood their actions endangered the child's well-being. Again, sound like they created this for dog ownership. It sounded like they were targeting dog ownership itself with these laws. Cops and all of you law people, y'all know this is true. And let me tell you something. I want y'all to do this. Big shout out to everybody, by the way. I hope y'all doing well. If you are a police officer or a lawyer or something, and you do want to say something, highlight my name in the chat room. Okay? Crusaders, nobody highlight my name, please. I only want the people who are actual police officers, lawyers, whatever. Highlight me if you disagree with something. I welcome any of your objections. Shout out to AP in the super chat. The circumstances of each case will determine whether the accused either knew or should have known that the child was in danger. Again, it sounds like they were targeting dog ownership. Sound like the people behind the scenes were like, man, we got to fix these laws where people can be prosecuted just for bringing the dog inside the home where a child is. Yet, they've taken an oath to not enforce these laws if it involves a dog. If it's a gun, fine. Right? If it's a knife, yeah, we'll enforce it. If it's a dog, which is more dangerous than both the gun and the knife, no, we're not going to enforce. We'll just call that an accident. Generally, an adult caregiver must do more than simply make a mistake or act unwisely. The caregiver must place the child in a situation where it is more likely than not that the child will become exposed to harm. Exposed to harm. It sounds like they're coming down hard on dog ownership where you got kids in the home, doesn't it? If anybody were to ask me after I read these for the first time, if I thought this applies to dog ownership, I'd say, well, I thought that's what it was made for. Yes, more than anything else. Courts have ruled, for example, that parents who left their child locked in a car with the engine running while they went into a store for around 40 minutes did not endanger the child. Horrible stuff. Gut-wrenching stuff. Now, y'all know my belief. Y'all know my theory. I strongly suspect, I'll say that. I strongly suspect that dog attacks, that the real purpose is to, I believe it's a sacrificial ritual. Rituals, blood sacrifices, they've been going on for a long time. Okay, if you are some type of worshiper of Baphomet, you are into blood sacrifices. And it is believed that many people who run the world, some believe all of them, they are into those types of things. Now, I told y'all before, the Knights Templar during the Middle Ages are said to have worshipped Baphomet. Right? Just another side note. The Knights Templar of the Middle Ages, now y'all know the Knights Templar, they're credited for protecting the Christians when they went down to visit the shrine of Jesus or whatever. They were like the military arm. They also had banking and all types of stuff like that. But what I want y'all to do is Google Knights Templar. Google them. I want y'all to see what they look like back in the day. I'll show you a quick Google image. Knights Templars. Look familiar? Look familiar to any modern groups? Look at that cross, huh? Now, you know, many of these people were in the government. They were sheriffs. Oh, yes. Law enforcement. Guess who else worshiped Baphomet? Guess who else into all that craziness? Something to think about. Now, I'm forced to ponder on these possibilities. Because why else are they making it a thing? They've strategically structured the laws for sacrifices to be made, for murders that always proceed with torture of their own youth. You should put a stop to that no matter what the cause is. Looking at how often it happens, no matter what it is, you should try to put a stop. Any people in their right state of mind, they would not allow dogs to be in the community the way these are. They don't even treat them as outdoor dogs. They ridicule if you keep them outside. They've even passed laws saying you can't keep them outside. You want to own them, you got to keep them in the house, let them live in your home as if they are humans. Why? When they know full well it violates the law, their own law that they made. Why would you also parallel that with a culture saying, get a bully breed? They're the best of dogs. And that's what's happening. Bully breeds are promoted more than any other dog. We need to understand that. When these shelters, they bring them on the medias, they're always promoting bully breeds over all others. The very breed bred to kill, and they love it. And that you also, on top of that, say, you got to keep them inside the home. And on top of that, you promote the pairing of them with kids all the time. More than any other way to promote them. They promote bully breeds paired with kids more than they promote them in any other way. I'm sorry, all of this does not sound like a coincidence to me. This sounds strategic. And whenever I talk to young black people, I try to stress to them to not be so fixated with racism. Racism is just one component of the insanity of these lunatics who run society. That's just one side of their lunacy. They're also into sacrificing their own literal biological kids. See, the problem is deeper. And as crazy as it may sound, the true problem is deeper. Because you get them to not be racist, they're still into this kind of stuff. So are they really better people? Now I want y'all to listen to something. This is a recent interview by Tokyo Tony. Listen to what she says here.
Today in Hollywood, it ain't nothing but about two things. Well, one come from the other, which is now at this present time, keeping their youth and their life going to 90. I think stopping at 98, everybody.
On the youth.
The Prince, everybody. Everybody stopping at like 98 years old.
Nah, I've heard that before. And we all know about that, how people in Hollywood, movie stars and whatnot, they do a lot of crazy stuff to stay looking young. Y'all heard about that lady? A lot of them do. They'll get skin and stuff from very, very, very young people. Yeah, some pretty sick stuff.
Present time, keeping their youth and their life going to 90. I think stopping at 98, everybody.
On the youth.
The Prince, everybody. Everybody stopping at like 98 years old. So if you get the adrenaline, and that's from the kids, example. So what is it to go grab you a few, take on down in them bunkers and where y'all building and get them down there, house them, scare them to death like they do, build their adrenaline, they have them so scared. And then they take that blood, they take it, and that's your youth.
Wow.
The kids have to be literally, they put them in caskets with bugs and spiders and snakes, just have you, and then you, yeah.
Y'all heard that? One of their rituals is to get a very young person to be deathly afraid, to be shaken and trembling in fear. And then they consume the life liquid of the young. I know some of y'all have heard about this being done. And this is how they claim to not only maintain their youth, to extend their life. I'm not saying that that's what happened. I'm saying that this is what they think is happening. Some of y'all heard about in China, they will prefer to torture the dog before killing it. They want the dog to be in fear, shaking and trembling in fear, and then kill it. And they say it gives the meat more flavor. Y'all have heard that? I've seen videos where they'll pull out a mallet and slap the dog around. The dog go crying around. And they slap, 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 slap. And eventually they kill it and they immediately start cutting it up. The same thing is said to happen based on, according to what she just told you. They make sure young people are terrified, and take their blood. I don't even think I need to verbalize what I'm thinking right now. Because with every attack, there always is fear and adrenaline. That's a way where fear and adrenaline is guaranteed to be in the body, in the blood. It's guaranteed. What a coincidence The blood of a young person who is in fear before death is called an accident. And these people encourage the pairing, and they encourage misleading them, lying to them, in order to numb their fear of dogs. The title of this: What to Do When Kids Are Afraid of Dogs.
Oh, wow. Look at that. She trusts you right away. They've expressed a lot of interest in Jingles, but I want to make sure...
No. Sorry. I had to speed up. I don't need to increase it because this is a short video. I want y'all to hear everything that's said.
Then hold it out. Show her you have the treat, Lulu. Oh, wow. Look at that. She trusts you right away.
And you see, that worthless, nasty mutt is just constantly looking around, sniffing around for food. Again, nothing admirable about that nasty looking rat.
They've expressed a lot of interest in Jingles, but I want to make sure that they're the right family for her first.
Hello, how are you? Come on in, everyone's in the back.
Hi.
Hey, everyone. What's everyday life like around here?
It's busy.
We do hiking, we go play soccer at the park, sometimes we go down to the beach and hang out.
Any chance we can go camping, we're out camping.
And I assume you want to take your dog to all these
We
activities.
want to take her everywhere. That's important for us.
Not all dogs are meant to be off-leash dogs. So, that's always the question. Will Jingles be an off-leash dog or not? It's yet to be seen.
Right. We hope she can be.
The parents are very experienced dog owners. They've had dogs their entire lives. Then they hit me with a curveball.
I'm scared of dogs, so that's why we got a dog to get off my nose.
You're scared of dogs? What do you mean?
Well, when she was little, 2 little dogs barked in her face and scared her, and she's been pretty apprehensive about dogs since that point in time, and we've worked really hard getting her comfortable. I think she's about ready to make the next step.
Now, how crazy is this? They project kids who are scared of dogs as having a mental disorder, a social disorder. And this should be illegal. To try to rob a young person of their natural instinct in identifying threats, lethal threats. To try to indoctrinate them to get that out of them should be illegal. That's abuse. You're grooming them in a way that increases the chances that they'll be tortured to death or maimed for life. Yeah, that's not cool. There ain't in no way is that acceptable. Y'all need to just accept that.
The next step.
Does she still get a bit nervous when she sees dogs on the street?
Yes.
And if they're barking, she gets even more nervous, and if they're aggressive.
Young people, you nervous, you're scared, good. You're supposed to be, because guess what? These things attack 7,000 of you every single day. Send over 2,000, over 1,000 of you to the ER every single day. Seems to kill at least 1 a week. And I'm sure disables, I don't know how many. We can get the numbers on that too. And I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna play this and I'm gonna get the numbers on that too.
She's in my arms instantaneously.
What would you two think about me coming back here in a few days and working with Isabella, try to get over her fear of dogs?
I think it would be great. You like that idea, Bella? Yeah?
Yeah?
Yes?
All smiles?
Okay. We'll see you in a few days.
I'll see you all in a few days.
Okay. Bye.
Today, Brandon is helping 5-year-old Isabella conquer her fear of dogs. And so far, she seems to be up for the challenge.
Did you have another dog?
Maybe I did. Do you want to see other dogs?
Yes.
All right, wait right there. So I brought out Bruno, and that's where we had some fun. Bruno is polar opposite personality of Lulu.
Okay. Now you see this dog is what? Bigger. You see the trick? You see what they're doing here? Bigger. The idea is that no matter how big they are, they're safe. Walk up to them, rub on them. But it's worse than that. Watch what this devil right here does. Y'all think oh, what a nice, this is a devil.
Of Lulu. Say hi to Bruno, everyone.
Hey.
All right, kids, pay attention. Here's what I want you to do.
I was very nervous when he brought out the other dog and when she was barking and jumping, especially jumping.
You see what he's doing right now? I have no control of him. You know why? Because I'm not commanding him. Okay, watch this. Bruno, no. Okay? The dogs listen to your commands. Now watch this. I say,
Said the dog listens to your commands. Is this misleading or not? Is that true? Can you just walk around and tell dogs what to do? Just random dogs around your neighborhood. Hey, you decide.
hey, Bruno, feet up.
Look how manipulative this is. He got a dog that he's trained to do certain things and projecting that as like, oh, you can do this too with any dog.
Put your feet up. Hold on. Hold it. Hold it. Dance. Hold it.
I did not expect it.
Now, the purpose, what they're doing here, the whole purpose of what he's doing, they're trying to rid their fear of dogs by doing this. Very misleading.
Isabella to go over and actually want to try the commands.
You ready? Okay.
Oh, I'm not going to show this. Now, what I'm showing y'all here is how desperate they are to get kids to lose their fear of dogs. You're so desperate that y'all make professions to specifically do that? Yes. Young people, why do you think so many adults, dog trainers, veterinarians, behaviorists, why do you think so many of them tell you to go up to dogs where you see them and try to pet them, to get permission from the owner to pet them? How many more ways do they have to say that they don't care? How many of them get attacked? How many of them are killed? They're going to push dogs more and more. Now, understand how it's a lot worse. When you talk about disfigurements, where you don't die, you're not killed, because I know there's a lot of nutters out here talking about, oh, there's not that many people who get killed, not that many fatalities. But there are a lot of disfigurements where you're ripped apart. Your chunks been ripped out your body. All of these attacks where we see a person has lived, they pull up their sleeve, pull up their shirt, pull up their pant leg, and they show me all their injuries. Those are mutilations. Those happen to young people too. You know how often it happens? About 40 kids every day is disfigured. Just like that. And most of them don't make the news. About 40 of you every day in the United States alone get mutilated and need reconstructive surgery. On average, according to that, and we know it's higher now. Last time we checked, it was between 20 and 30,000. It's much higher than that now. Those numbers was out 5-6 years ago. So it's well over 40 every day. Around 80 people, adults and young people every day. Do you know how dangerous that is? You don't teach young people to view creatures like that as harmless and treat their fear of these things as if it's a sign that something's wrong with them. Look at how popular this is.
Hi, my name's Nat and I'm an OT at Kites Therapy, doing animal-assisted therapy for children. And some of the children who come to see us have a severe fear of dogs. We actually see a lot of progress with these kids when we approach it really gently.
They have a severe fear of dogs. So she specializes in dog-assisted therapy, as you can see, as it reads, to help kids overcome fear of dogs. People, this is a part of dog culture. To numb their fear. Understand, they're the primary victims of dog attacks. Why would you want to numb their fear of dogs when they're the most targeted and least capable of fighting off a dog attack? They're the most vulnerable. We saw a number of adults under attack eventually fight it off. Doesn't happen here. And you want to specialize in numbing their fear of dogs? Why? Look at how desperate and strategic they try to do this. There has to be a reason why. All it does is put them in danger. It doesn't benefit them. So I suspect one of the reasons why is because there's some people who are involved in sick demonic cults. Many of you heard the story about Hillary Clinton. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know about that. Where Hillary Clinton was said to be on film, was caught doing the same thing. Making sure that she was in fear first. You know, the innocent. Yeah, Hillary, it was said she was caught, instilling fear into the innocent. And then, consuming the life liquid. You know what? I believe it. I personally believe it. It goes on, is what I mean. This type of stuff goes on.
They come and they do an 8-week block of sessions with us.
And you know, their favorite way to do it is to get the young people to give the dog food. This is misleading them. And let me tell you something else. This is the real purpose of bringing therapy dogs into schools around the country. We all see clearly that they're lying when they say that they're doing it to help reduce stress and anxiety in the students. We know that's not it. This is their reason. They want to, en masse, numb their sense of fear of dogs. Because they've already been doing stuff like this. So they're saying, you know what? We should do a preemptive strike. Let's numb them. Let's remove their fear of dogs so that they won't even have to go to a trainer to go through this type of stuff. This is the reason for them doing that. They know full well young people at this age not dealing with no stress.
In the first couple of weeks, there's no dog present. We look at pictures and we talk about dogs.
First couple of weeks of this program of theirs, there's no living dogs around. They make them look at cartoons, pictures. This is sick. It's sick. And you know, many of these people, they don't even realize that they're engaged in very sick, demonic, evil behavior. What does that tell you? It tells you they're genuinely sick and evil. That's the true character of these people. Wickedness. Wow. This is shocking stuff.
Sometimes we look at one of the dogs through the window and we
look at them through the window. They're carrying out that same rehabilitation process for cynophobia. They tell you to do the same thing for people with cynophobia. Get them to look at pictures of dogs, look at dogs from a distance through a window. Treat them like they got a mental disorder. when it's actually the nutter with a mental disorder, and they're indoctrinating them. They're instilling a mental disorder in the young people. Oh, yes.
A gradual approach. We aim to end up with the dog in the room and the child feeling confident to be in the same proximity as
Young
a dog.
people,
And then
these things attack you all the time, every day. They rip chunks of flesh out of your body. Over 40 of you every single day. Stay away from them. These people are lunatics. You better save yourself. Well, it's beyond sick.
eventually work towards it being a little bit more real life, but we might be walking on the footpath with a dog or being out in the community with one of the dogs. For more information, have a look at the Kites website.
You sick, twisted degenerates. The craziest thing is how so many of them don't even realize how sick a behavior this is. How demented and evil and wrong, immoral. It doesn't even dawn on them that they're endangering these young people. They're telling them to live a lifestyle that will maximize the chances that they get mutilated. They don't even they're just lost. Totally numb. It's almost like they're soulless. They're like soulless robots. All nutters are like this. You look into the eyes of a nutter. They have no soul. Even when they do good things, they have no connection to the good they do. They're just aware that it's good. I'll help you. And they don't feel nothing about it. How this happened is beyond me. But we're dealing with people numb. Completely numb. Y'all want to remove their fear of creatures that do stuff like this. Make sense out of this.
Texarkana today, a police officer is in recovery after being attacked and mauled by two pit bulls while responding to a call. Chris Flores was investigating a call about a woman who had attacked a woman when he was charged as he walked towards the scene. The dogs quickly overwhelmed him, leaving him defenseless. Another officer arrived at the scene.
This is a police officer. Was powerless against these dogs, against the same creatures y'all teaching young people not to fear. Those same creatures overwhelm law enforcement officers. Make sense out of that. For anybody who think I'm I'm not a conspiracy theory channel. Don't confuse me with The Truth Is. Don't confuse me with none of these conspiracy theory channels. I got nothing but receipts. That's all I got.
Scene and was able to fend them off with a fire extinguisher. Both dogs were taken.
A fire extinguisher. Could you imagine huge gaping wounds in your body and some nutter come up and spray you with a fire extinguisher? Cannot make this up.
Taken in by animal control. Officer Flores and the woman were both brought to the hospital and are now recovering.
Right. So they both got injured. They was both overwhelmed. Both needed emergency care treatment. And you want to send a 6-year-old up to these same creatures and say, it's okay, there's nothing to fear? You want to tell whole classrooms full of young people there's no reason to be afraid of these things? And if you are afraid of them, something's wrong with you and you need help? Y'all trying to tell me ain't nothing going on? Yeah, something going on. These same creatures, you want to teach them?
Now, a Metcalfe County woman is recovering after being attacked by a dog and is facing severe injuries that require intensive care and surgery. Tonight, we've learned that the owners of the animal have been cited with harboring a vicious animal. WBKO reporter Presley Allen spoke to the victim and her daughter to hear their story and tell the community how they can help. And we do want to warn you that some parts of this story may be disturbing.
Like I won't be myself again.
Misty Buchanan says she has been left permanently disfigured as she recovers from being mauled by a dog in her own neighborhood just under 2 weeks ago.
And all I could see was a big face and a bunch of teeth, just teeth all over. I don't look over that way because of the reenactment that I keep seeing in my mind.
As a result of the attack, Buchanan sustains injuries on her corneas, scalp, arm, and jaw, having to receive a...
Look at her. Y'all hear that?
On her corneas. Result of the attack.
We want to tell 6-year-olds there's no reason to fear the creatures responsible for this. She looking like a mummy up here. Can't even talk. A piece of her face sticking out. Can't even see her wrapped up in bandages. Oh, there's nothing to fear. Oh, you're scared. Oh, something's wrong with you. No. Again, if the teacher or whoever, some handler, you're sitting in class, they bring a dog in, get up and leave. Get up and leave. Y'all have to not partake in this dog culture. Stay away from these things. Do not pet them. I don't care what the adults around you are saying.
Buchanan sustains injuries on her corneas, scalp, arm, and jaw, having to receive a skin graft and facing nerve damage.
It severed all the nerves right here in the bottom of my mouth, so I can't talk right. I can't even suck on a straw.
Now listen, a lot of us, when we hear people say stuff like what she just said, we don't get the full impact of it. Y'all just don't know how horrible of an experience this is until you go through it. Where your nerves have been severed. You can't even eat or drink properly. Constantly in pain, incapacitated. It starts to stress you out. You start to get depressed because of the condition you're in, how people looking at you. A lot of times you've completely lost your beauty, sending you deeper into depression. These experiences are a lot worse than they may seem. This ain't a few nicks and cuts.
Can't even suck on a straw. I can't eat very much.
When emergency services responded to the scene, Buchanan was airlifted to Vanderbilt University Medical Center.
She almost died.
Since the incident, Buchanan commutes 2.5 hours to Vanderbilt for medications, appointments, and surgeries.
Now, by the way, I almost forgot. This story surfaced yesterday. The one I shared here, this surfaced, I think, yesterday. Yeah. Well, actually, a few hours ago. Right? I went from talking about this nutter culture into recent attack stories. I don't have to pull nothing out from nowhere. Right? Us going over these videos, these sick, twisted videos.
Now hold it out. Show you how the...
I'm showing you immediately. These things function right now. Now, as if that wasn't bad enough, I'm going to save that for a different video. I want to spread this stuff out. I don't want to dump too much onto the people and the listeners at once. But if you are a young person, there are more adults today who are motivated to bring dogs around you than there has ever been. A lot of these adults, when they see you, they have a strong urge to go get a pit bull and bring it around you more than any other time in history. Oh, and just coincidentally, you got a group of people who've taken over the world who, as a part of their rituals, and you got the laws, you got the culture, the cartoons, the indoctrination, the guilt shaming. Oh, you don't want to be around dogs. You must be an evil person yourself, with a mental disorder, with a social disorder. There's so much pressure on people to not be an open anti-dog person. You got to block it all out and focus on how despicable and dangerous these things are. When you're walking around through the neighborhood, when you're watching TV, every single time you think of a dog, you should think of a dog attacking you or attacking your peers, ripping somebody's face off, ripping their throat out. You shouldn't envision them doing anything else. You shouldn't associate them with anything else. Not the happy music, not with a happy family. Understand that. When you see dogs in your mental, in your mind's eye, it should be blood with it around its mouth. These things are killers. The hospitals inform us that they're killers. The media inform every single day. The police reports. This is not a conspiracy. Several different outlets confirm these things are killers. And they attack for sport, for the pleasure of attacking. And these adults are fooling you, misleading you by getting you to give the dog food. The only thing it's as preoccupied with as it is with attacking people is eating. They have eating disorders. Dogs do. They're always full of parasites, so they're always hungry, and they can always eat. They will eat themselves to death if you let them. What happens when there's no food around? Even if there is food around, they might simply choose to attack you. So stay away from them. I don't care who it is, family or friends. If they own a dog, never go over to their home, ever. Do you want to end up getting sliced up and stabbed and killed, mutilated? Then stay out of their homes. Shout out to everybody able to join me for this live stream. And I hope to see you on the next as we continue with this crusade.